Marty Supreme has already raced its way into nearly every major best films of the year list, and for many critics and audiences alike, it feels like the performance that could finally earn Timothée Chalamet his first Oscar win. But what exactly makes this film so magnetic? Why does a story about a table tennis prodigy feel as intense, emotional, and even existential as a crime thriller or a war epic? On the surface, it's a sports film. But underneath, it's a brutal character study about obsession, identity, ego, and the price of greatness. So let's break it all down. The world of Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme is directed by Josh Safdie alongside Benny Safdie, marking another collaboration with longtime creative partner Ronald Bronstein, who co-wrote and edited the film. The Safdie brothers are no strangers to chaos-driven storytelling, having previously delivered Uncut Gems, a film that turned anxiety into an art form. And in many ways, Marty Supreme feels like a spiritual successor. But instead of the Diamond District, we are thrown into the world of international table tennis, a sport that becomes anything but small or insignificant in this story. It becomes a battleground for ego, identity, and survival. The film loosely draws inspiration from real-life table tennis figures, but Marty himself is fictionalized into something far more extreme. A man who doesn't just want to win, he needs to be the best player who has ever lived. Not in his mind, in reality. And that belief changes everything. Marty, the man who cannot lose his own mind. At the center of the film is Marty, played by Timothée Chalamet in what critics are calling a career-defining performance. Unlike traditional underdog sports protagonists, Marty is not insecure. He doesn't struggle with self-doubt or imposter syndrome. Instead, his defining trait is the opposite. He fully believes he is already the best. The problem is not internal belief. The problem is external validation. And the world refuses to confirm what he already knows. This creates a dangerous psychological loop. Every loss is not a lesson, it is an injustice. Every obstacle is not a challenge, it is interference with destiny. When asked what he will do if his dream fails, Marty simply responds, "That doesn't even enter my consciousness." This mindset makes him magnetic, but also destructive. Because in Marty's pursuit of greatness, people are not companions. They are tools, distractions, or casualties. Relationships left behind. Marty's journey is defined not just by victories and losses, but by the emotional wreckage he leaves behind. One of the most painful relationships is with Rachel, a woman who has been both his friend and lover. Rachel represents reality, the grounded life Marty constantly refuses to accept. When Rachel reveals she is pregnant with his child, Marty's reaction is not emotional, it is dismissive, cold, almost irritated, because in his mind, fatherhood is a detour, a distraction from greatness. This moment reveals one of the film's central truths. Marty does not reject people because he doesn't care about them. He rejects them because he believes destiny matters more than connection. But the irony is that every relationship he destroys becomes another reason for his internal collapse. KAN, the illusion of connection. If Rachel represents reality, Kay represents fantasy. Kay is a former actress who enters Marty's world at a time when he is most unstable emotionally. Their relationship is not built on stability, it is built on projection. Marty sees Kay as youth, freedom, and admiration. Kay sees Marty as ambition, danger, and excitement. But neither of them truly understands the other. Their relationship becomes a mirror of self-deception, two people trying to escape themselves through someone else. And like most things in Marty's life, it cannot last. Koto Indo, the perfect opposite. The most important figure in Marty's journey is Kato Indo, the Japanese table tennis champion who defeats Marty in London early in the film. Kato is everything Marty is not. He is calm where Marty is chaotic. He is disciplined where Marty is impulsive. He is respectful where Marty is arrogant. But most importantly, Kato does not define himself through domination. He defines himself through mastery. This distinction becomes central to the film's philosophy. Marty wants to beat the world. Kato wants to understand the game, and that difference shapes their entire rivalry. After losing to Kato, Marty becomes obsessed, not just with revenge but with validation. He travels to Japan seeking a rematch that becomes less about sport and more about identity. If he can beat Kato, he can prove the world wrong, or at least that's what he believes. Ping pong, ASA symbol of American obsession. On the surface, table tennis seems like an unusual choice for a high-stakes sports drama. But symbolically, it is perfect. Ping pong is fast, reactive, precise. Every move is a response to another move. Just like Marty's life, he never stops moving, never pauses to reflect, always reacting to pressure with more pressure. The ball becomes a metaphor for ambition itself, always bouncing, never resting, never settling. Marty's desire to create orange table tennis balls is one of the film's most subtle but powerful symbolic details. It represents his belief that he must stand out, not just be the best, but redefine what best even looks like. He doesn't want to win the game. He wants to change the game. The American dream turned inside out. At its core, Marty Supreme is about the American dream, but not in its idealized form. It is about what happens when ambition becomes obsession. Marty is the embodiment of a post-war dream mentality. If you want it badly enough, you can become anything. But the film asks a harder question. What if that belief destroys everything around you? Marty's journey exposes the cost of extreme self-belief. The more he pushes forward, the more isolated he becomes. The more he wins, the more he loses socially, emotionally, and morally. He is not rising toward greatness, he is collapsing into it, the degradation of success. One of the film's most controversial sequences involves Marty attempting to secure funding for a tournament in Japan. In exchange, he is subjected to humiliating conditions imposed by wealthy benefactors. This is where the film makes its strongest critique of power structures. Marty believes talent should be enough. The world tells him otherwise. Power requires submission, humiliation, control, and Marty, who believes he is destined for greatness, is forced to confront a system that does not care about destiny, only hierarchy. Each humiliation strips away another layer of his ego. But instead of breaking him, it fuels him further. The Japan tournament, the breaking point. The climax in Japan represents the collision of everything Marty believes about himself. He is blocked from entering the championship. He is forced into an exhibition match designed to mock him, and at his lowest point, he is asked to publicly degrade himself in front of a global audience. This is where something finally breaks. Not his body, not his skill, but his identity. Marty refuses to play by their rules anymore. He demands a real match with Kato Indo. And for the first time, the world finally sees the raw, unfiltered version of Marty Supreme. Not the performer, not the hustler, but the competitor. The match is chaotic, emotional, and exhausting, and Marty wins. Barely. But that victory changes nothing externally and everything internally. The final turn. Fatherhood A&D identity. When Marty returns home, he discovers Rachel has given birth to their child. And for the first time in the film, Marty is forced into silence. Not strategic silence, emotional silence. Because the child represents something he cannot outplay, outthink, or outrun. It is permanence. Legacy. Responsibility. Everything Marty has avoided. The film does not present this transformation as magical or instant. Instead, it shows it as a collapse of his constructed identity. For the first time, Marty is not thinking about winning. He is thinking about being. Ending explained. What does it all mean? The ending of Marty Supreme is not about redemption in the traditional sense. Marty does not become a better person overnight. Instead, he becomes aware. Aware of what he lost. Aware of what he ignored. Aware that greatness and emptiness are often the same path viewed from different angles. His final moment with his child does not erase his past actions. It reframes them. He is still Marty Supreme, but now he is also something else. Something human. Final thoughts. Marty Supreme is not just a sports film, it is a psychological study of ambition taken to its most extreme form. It asks a simple question: what happens when a man refuses to believe he is anything less than the best? And answers it with chaos, destruction, brilliance, and ultimately, reflection. Timothée Chalamet delivers a performance that feels both explosive and controlled, capturing a man who is constantly burning from the inside but refuses to stop moving forward. And that is what makes Marty Supreme so unforgettable. Because in the end, Marty doesn't just play the game, he becomes the game.